Fly, Eagles, no. No. I'm not singing it. I'm already... So as you can tell, if you watched the last Equinox episode, you would know what Carl and I bet. I said that if the Eagles won the Super Bowl, which they unfortunately did, I'd wear a Donovan McNabb away Eagles jersey. And if the Eagles lost the Super Bowl, which they unfortunately did not, Carl will be sitting here wearing I think a Phil Simms...
Eli Manning.
An Eli Manning
jersey.
This is... Why are you filming this, Vic? Vic, this is not fun. This is not fun. This is putting me out of my misery. We have Vic behind the glass, by the way. How you doing, Vic?
I'm good.
Awesome. Yeah, the death toll sounded during the intro. That's why, because I'm so mad that I have to wear this. But yes, welcome to the Equinox. Matt Siriani, Carl Maglowski. We will have a person come in, I think, at some point later in the show. She'll come in really, really quietly. I'm not going to disclose who she is, but she's not going to like what she sees when she comes into the room because she hates the Philadelphia Eagles. But let's get into the Super Bowl while I have the chance to do so without cringing so bad. So 40-22 was the final. The Philadelphia Eagles destroyed the Kansas City Chiefs from pillar to post, 24-0 at the half, 34-6 after 3 quarters, and then there you go. Now, I don't have the stats for Jalen Hurts in front of me, but he was the Super Bowl MVP. Patrick Mahomes looked horrible.
I know his stats.
You do?
Yeah, so Jalen Hurts, I think, passed for 220, and he ran for 70 yards.
That's actually kind of amazing.
Yes, and for the first touchdown, they were first and goal, like the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
They couldn't stop the tush push.
They couldn't. No one.
I knew they couldn't.
No, well,
it was easy.
Well, when you see the Commanders get stuffed the way they did, you'd probably know, you probably
the Eagles' tush push is a little bit different than the Bills' tush push.
So it's 221, what does that say? 2 touchdowns, 1 interception?
Yep.
Oh, wow. And then Mahomes, 3 garbage time touchdowns and 2 picks.
Yes.
By the time it was 34-6, it was over.
Was it over when it was 17-0 when Cooper DeJean?
Yeah, when Cooper DeJean took the pick 6, that was when it was really over. Actually, no. I scratched that. After Zach Bond got the pick before halftime, then it was over.
I said, with Mahomes, you still got to pile on because you don't want to let off the gas. And they kept on burying him.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
And the beautiful thing is, too, you did this when Saquon Barkley was mostly ineffective.
They knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
They're going to put 8 guys in a box, try to stop Saquon. But he was good. He did get some rushing yards, but he's also he was good in the passing game.
Yeah, he was.
And Super Bowl MVP. They can't say that Jalen Hurts can't win. It was a good thing that they extended him with his contract.
Yeah.
So hopefully now with the new offensive coordinator that they just promoted yesterday, with now Kellen Moore going to
New Orleans,
which
I knew was going to happen, by the way.
So they still have Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
So all they now knew how is basically the new offensive coordinator. He's been with the Eagles for the last 4 years with Siriani.
Okay.
He was a passing game coordinator.
Okay.
So if they don't change the offense, I don't think they will. They just got to sign a couple people that they can't afford to lose.
Yeah.
They're going to be in the running again to repeat next year.
Can I be honest with you about one thing? And this is something I've said before when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
A lot, they got A.J. Brown via trade. Yeah, they signed Saquon in free agency. But you want to know what you did? You drafted well.
Yes.
Howie Roseman drafted well. You drafted Jalen Carter. You drafted Zach Bond. You drafted Cooper DeJean. You drafted Nakobe Dean. You drafted all these defensive studs.
Actually,
you basically drafted the entire 2022 Georgia defense.
Zach Bond was from New Orleans. It was a free agent signing.
Gotcha.
So they're saying if they don't give him, a couple extend him for, 3-year contract, they said they could probably do the franchise on him.
Yeah.
But knowing Harry, he might just, instead of doing a franchise for, 20, he could be, $27 million, whatever top linebacker's going to be paid for. They're saying he may just do a lesser deal, let's say 3 years, $25 million, and do it that way instead of, the 1 year of this. But we'll see, Hey,
listen, Zach Bond had an incredible season.
He did.
He had an incredible season. That Eagle defense had an incredible season.
Yes.
You got to give him credit. I mean, like I said, you drafted well on the defensive side of the ball.
Yes.
Obviously, you got Devontae Smith. Obviously, you got Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
The 2 Bama boys. But you also did some well in free agencies, too. Like I said, A.J. Brown via trade. You got Saquon Barkley in free agency. You have a really good offensive line that you established through over the years. So this was something that was due to come, but after last year's debacle with the collapse late in the year, no one thought this would happen. But it's pretty clear and obvious that, look at this. Look at this roster right here. I mean, Paris Campbell doesn't really do anything. But, so let's go to the departures again. So look at this. You lost Kevin Byard, who was a really good safety. Obviously, Driscoll, I mean, that's not really a big deal. And then you re-signed, if you scroll down again, we'll see. Yeah, look at that. Reed Blankenship. You did really well. Look at all that. Jordan Mailata. Also, another unsung hero on the defensive side of the ball, Quinyon Mitchell.
Yes,
was a real stud.
Good draft pick. When I knew that they got him from Toledo, I was happy.
Sometimes you don't have to hit every pick. Howie Roseman hit every pick, and then some. Yeah.
So here's what I'm happy about. So coming next season, we have Lane Johnson. He signed for a couple more years. I went to the parade.
Yeah.
So when he was talking, he said, I got many more years to play, so he's not giving up anytime soon. So you got Lane for a couple more years.
Yeah.
We saying Mailata, you got him for a couple more years. Same thing with Cam Jurgens. He signed.
Good, yeah.
And also, oh my God, he played from Alabama. Oh my God, he filled in for Jurgens when. Oh my God.
Is it drawing a blank?
I know him also well. Oh my God.
Anyway.
Mekhi
Becton, yeah.
He came over from the
Jets, yeah.
So he was on a 1-year deal, but if Davey signed him, that's good. It'll come back to me from.
It'll come back to you. It'll come back to you. But you want to know something else? Like Mahomes got pressured a lot, and it's funny. Vic brought this up before we even came on the air. The defensive line for the Eagles was really good, but the Chiefs' offensive line was horrible.
Oh, Landon Dickerson, that's it. Yeah, so he's signed for a couple more years too. So the whole old line, offensive line, comes back.
Yeah,
even Goddard is still
Dallas
there.
Goddard, yeah, you got him locked up for a couple more years. Overall, very well established. But Mahomes tried to make plays with his legs, and there were times where he bit him in the butt. There were some times where they couldn't even get the ground game going in Philadelphia. Saquon was not a factor. It was Jalen Hurts. It was Devontae Smith. It was A.J. Brown. It was Dallas Goddard.
Yes.
They threw the ball all over the Chiefs' defense, and they couldn't stop it. But remember, in the opening drive, people in the stadium were thinking, oh, no, here we go again, because A.J. Brown got the OPI.
Oh, that was a bad call.
That was a terrible call.
Yes.
It was a terrible call. And that's what people in New Orleans were thinking. Oh no, the Chiefs are going to screw us over. But then Mahomes tried to be bedazzling. He tried to make amazing plays like he always does, and I think he did a little bit too much.
The Eagles were the better team,
clearly.
And now here's what I have a question for you and Vic.
Go ahead.
Now with the Eagles basically blowing them out, does this now have evidence? Now, everybody on the AFC side could turn up the film and say, all right, if we do this to Mahomes, we could beat the Chiefs and go to the Super Bowl. What do you guys think? Because I think Kansas City's vulnerable. Because Kelsey, he doesn't know. So now he's like...
Kelsey's on the cusp of retiring.
Yeah,
he looked so pissed off for two reasons. One, they can't three-peat. And two, Taylor Swift's probably going to dump him in the hotel room. That's probably the two reasons why Travis Kelce was pissed. But to answer your question about the Eagles, they could probably be the class of the NFC for years to come. If the Lions regress, that's the main factor.
That's the thing. This was the good year for the Lions. Now you lost both the coordinators, and I don't know. I think basically the Eagles have the best talent in the NFC.
Yeah.
They just hopefully that they keep it up. They don't take a notch down and then go back to what it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We'll see, but we got one. Let's try to go to repeat next year.
Try to repeat. But also, I think this tells you how hard it is to three-peat.
It is.
Because especially in this era where you have free agency, the draft, and inconsistencies across, it's very hard to three-peat in this era. The last team to three-peat was the Lombardi Packers from 1965 to 1967, but technically that first year was not during the Super Bowl era.
No. So
but still.
Now here's what I have now with Mahomes losing 2 Super Bowls. Now he's 3-2 in 5 Super Bowls.
Yes.
Both his losses were blowouts.
Yes.
To Brady and now to Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
Jalen Hurts should have beat him 2 years ago. If he didn't have that fumble,
I agree.
He could be maybe 2 and 3 in Super Bowls.
I agree 100%.
So right now, now Mahomes ain't the GOAT. It's still Brady, Montana. Now, I could even do Mahomes, but I could do now.
I think my Mount Rushmore, it's Brady, it's Montana, it's I would say Peyton Manning, and then possibly I want to say Joe Namath, but
no, but right now they'll say because Super Bowls, but I would do. But they already had Mahomes over in Montana. No. So you got Brady, Montana, then Mahomes. You can't do Bradshaw because Bradshaw wasn't.
Hey, listen, Terry Bradshaw. He's a great analyst for Fox. But
he is a Hall of Famer. But the game that he played, if Mahomes couldn't play in a game back in the 70s or with Montana,
Mahomes could not play in the 70s.
No, because it was defense that they used to tackle.
And the reason why the Steelers were so good in the 70s, no offense to Terry, but it was because their defense was loaded. They had a phenomenal defense. They had the steel curtain.
Yeah, I think this league now is more for the quarterback. I don't think Mahomes could have. If you just made clothesline, it wouldn't flag. So it's different. So, but right now I have Brady 1, Montana 2, then Mahomes.
I agree with that.
That's what it is. I think Mahomes has to win.
He would have to win 8 now.
2 more to beat
Montana.
To jump Montana.
No, but I said this to Vic earlier. I said, listen, Brady played in 10 Super Bowls, and even the ones that he lost were close. He lost the Giants by 3, he lost the Giants by 4, he lost the Eagles by 8.
Now the first one against the Giants, I don't put that on him because when he left the field, they were up 14-10.
Yeah.
That's on Belichick's defense. Don't let the Giants score that last touchdown.
Listen, don't get it twisted. Brady did not play well that Super Bowl.
He did not, but he did have the game-winning go-ahead drive with a minute plus left.
Yeah, with Randy Moss. But then Eli Manning made a miraculous play with the helmet catch. And then again in 2011, same thing. Manning makes a miraculous play with the Mario Manning hand throw, which still lives in my head rent-free. And then Gronk was disabled that game. He wasn't really entirely healthy. You got to remember that Super Bowl Gronk was not 100%.
No.
So obviously there are going to be like things that Brady could have done it if it weren't for this. Brady could have done it. Listen, Eli Manning said it himself. He beat Brady twice, fair or square.
Yeah.
And the Nick Foles one, that's going to live in like NFL galore because that's just a Cinderella story for the history books. Nick Foles wasn't even supposed to be the Eagles starting quarterback that Super Bowl. It was supposed to be Carson Wentz. And then Nick Foles had the game of his life.
No, he had the last 2 games against the Vikings and against the Patriots.
Yeah. And like even that Super Bowl, Brady lost by 8. 8 is a pretty close game.
Yeah, he threw over 500 yards, but it wasn't enough because New England's defense couldn't stop the Eagles.
They couldn't stop a nosebleed that day. It's kind of amazing. So now I still think Brady is the GOAT. Whether Jet fans love to hate him or not, it's and we have a Jet fan as our producer, by the way. Just want to let you know that. Whether Jet fans want to hate on Brady or not, listen, he delivered. Win or lose, he delivered. For the most part. Because obviously there were some stinkers that no one wants to talk about. But speaking of the Jets, for instance, while I'm a Jet producer here, we do have to get into basically the biggest news of the NFL offseason so far. Aaron Rodgers was told by the New York Jets that he will not be coming back for the 2025 season. At age 41, Aaron Rodgers had statistically the worst season of his career, but even Vic said for Aaron Rodgers, his down year is a good year for most quarterbacks.
Well, actually, that's what he said. That was his quote.
When did he say this?
Like 2 seasons ago.
I guess on Pat McAfee's show he said this.
No, it was during his stint when him and the Packers were going to depart.
Oh, so it was basically at the end of the honeymoon.
Right, basically at the end of when he was going to go to free agency or get traded. Not free agency, traded.
Yeah.
People were asking him because he had that quote unquote down year.
Yeah.
At the Packers. But like that down year at the Packers was still 20 plus. He was still in the middle of the pack.
Right.
And that was a down year. So like.
That's everything you need to know.
Right. So your expectation of is probably the greatest throw over football I've ever seen.
Yeah.
like accuracy wise, arm strength wise.
I mean, his pinpoint accuracy is second to none.
Yeah, I mean, he still has that. He still has it.
Yeah.
He threw 28 touchdowns in apparently a retirement year.
Yeah.
So.
And he threw 4 touchdowns in a retirement game, quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really count that game, but whatever. But still, like, he had 28 touchdowns. There wasn't a quarterback since, I want to say Fitzpatrick that threw 28 touchdowns.
I think you're right. Because Fitz had a good season that one year with the Jets.
That was a career year for him.
That was his.
He actually holds the single season record.
Does he really?
For the Jets.
Not even Joe Namath?
That's how bad the Jets quarterbacks have been.
Oh my God. But anyway, Aaron Rodgers has been weighing his options about what he's going to do next. There's obviously retirement. There's obviously other teams like the Raiders. I would laugh my ass off if he goes to the Vikings. But I don't think that's going to happen.
No, what they're going to do is they're probably going to franchise Darnold.
Yeah.
If they can't give him a 3-year deal, they'll probably franchise him and then run it back with him, and then let J.J. McCarthy learn another year under Darnold. And if Darnold has another good year, then they'll probably extend him and then use McCarthy as a trade pick bait.
Yeah.
You know?
And then another thing I want to mention, and this was something that Vic brought up. Myles Garrett wants to get traded from the Cleveland Browns. The youngest man to reach 100 sacks. He wants out of Cleveland. I don't blame him. The Browns are literally going nowhere. Where do you see Myles Garrett going?
He needs to go to a contender. So, it all depends what the Browns might want to trade him to.
Yeah.
It's not going to be nowhere in the division or in a conference. I was told that he wants to go to Dallas. He's not going to help Dallas.
No, he's not.
Because because I just heard on the ride in, Zach Martin's going to retire.
I heard, yes.
So they're going to now lose their one of their good tackles. So I won't be surprised that keep this a dark horse. Yeah. The Eagles.
Of course you say that.
I won't be surprised because this is now Howie Roseman's best time of the year.
It is.
You know,
he's coming off a Super Bowl win. He had a great defensive draft. Why not?
Because if they can't resign Josh Sweat, I want Josh Sweat back. But if they can't resign Josh Sweat, Myles Garrett, there you go, another D end.
Okay, there you go. Then we have other free agents. Matthew Stafford is on the list. Cooper Kupp is threatened to be traded. I mean, there's rumblings that Cooper Kupp will be traded by the Los Angeles Rams, which I think will be a massive mistake on their part if they even try to trade for him. Because Cooper Kupp's their best offensive weapon. I know Puka Nacua has come around a lot, but guess who was Super Bowl MVP in Super Bowl 56?
Cooper Kupp.
Exactly. Like, Cooper Kupp still has value. And I don't know what the Rams are thinking. Like, they might not sign Matthew Stafford. They might trade Cooper Kupp away. I don't know what they're thinking. What are they thinking? Stetson Bennett at quarterback next year?
So, question for you guys.
Go ahead.
Would you, so if you're the Giants, you make a call to McVay and try to get Stafford, or go or get one of the guys in the draft? Basically, would Stafford make you guys better for the playoffs, or do you want to? Because if you have another bad
playoffs when it comes to the Giants,
if you have another bad year, I think Dable's gone.
If they do have another bad year, yes, Brian Dable is gone.
It's probably Joe Shane too.
Agreed.
So, do you want to try to make the playoffs, or because if you don't make the playoffs, if you draft the rookie quarterback, then
you're rebuilding again.
Yes. Now, you're going to give me 3 years with this rookie, or you're on a hot seat. That's the thing.
I think the New York Giants are going to probably go the veteran route. You want to know why? Well, Stafford doesn't have a no-trade clause, so he can be traded to another team. But here's my problem with the Giants going for a veteran. If it doesn't pan out like Aaron Rodgers didn't pan out in New York, and I've heard this plenty of times before, being a New York sports fan, if you could play in New York market, you could play anywhere. It's true. Because a lot of these athletes, like Yankees, Knicks, Giants, it's crazy. A lot of these athletes who play in New York, they fall under pressure. And it's like, it happened again with Aaron Rodgers. But one person that I think I want to just say, like, personally, if they go Matthew Stafford, I think I get it. but he's 40. However, my other situation with that is the fact that Stafford doesn't have a good talent around him. I think Stafford thrived in LA, not just because of the talent around, because of how good he could play at that level at the age of 40, but also because he had the talent around him. Like, we don't have a Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp in
No, he's
New York.
actually younger than that, man. I think he's going to be 37 this coming season.
He's 37?
Yeah, he's not that old.
Wow.
He's only 36.
Yeah, but like, listen, we have Malik Neighbors. That's it. And oh god, and Tyrone Tracy. Like, that's it.
Yeah, he's 37. He just turned 37.
He just turned 37. Happy late birthday, Matthew Stafford. But Tyrone Tracy and Malik Neighbors versus Kyron Williams, Cooper Kupp, and Puka Nacua.
Yeah,
that's a massive down.
And you got Tyler Higbee as your tight end.
And Tyler Higbee is tight end. And we got no tight end in New York. But listen, if we want to get Stafford, then by all means we can do it. I really don't care. But like, just win football games, New York Giants.
Because right now they have your team linked for DeAndre Hunter.
Oh, Travis Hunter?
Oh, sorry, Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
Travis Hunter.
I could see it. Because they got too many receivers already. They got Neighbors. They got the guy from Tennessee, Jalen Hyatt. They got Malik Neighbors. How many receivers do we need? Please tell me.
I don't know because he's gone. Now you have Tommy Cutlets.
I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
You know,
my football team stinks.
Yeah, Drew Lock. He's just a backup.
Drew Lock is terrible.
I don't know.
He's a one-game wonder. He won that game against the Colts, but he shouldn't have, and it cost us the number one pick.
I don't even know who you could go and trade for.
We have no reliable options at quarterback.
So you have to get somebody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll tell you what. Maybe we could do both. Maybe we can acquire Matthew Stafford in free agency, number one. Number two, you draft a quarterback in the second round. You take Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss, who I like a lot. And then you get Travis Hunter with the third overall pick, if he's there. There you go.
No, Jackson Dart ain't going to make it to round two.
Yes, he will.
You know, I think he's going to go before that.
This quarterback class is horrible. This quarterback class is dog poop.
I think he'll go earlier than Jalen Milroe.
Well,
so you're going to have Ward. You got Ward, Sanders, and Dart.
I'll tell you right now, the worst thing the Giants could do is drafting Shedeur Sanders. The worst thing they could do is do that. You want to know why? Because if we get him, Deion comes with him. Because that's his son. And if you saw what Deion Sanders is like as the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, you would know that he's one of the most egotistical coaches out there.
No, he can't coach. He can't coach in the NFL.
He can't. Well, he's not going to coach. I'm saying, like, it's going to be like Lonzo Ball when he came to the NBA, where LeVar Ball hyped up his son and he flopped so hard. That's what this would be. So there's that. Then there's also the possibility that I heard Jalen Milroe is a good option. I think Brian Dable might take a chance because he is the Alabama connections there, but I don't think it would work. I also believe that when it comes to the Giants, I heard Sam Darnold's on the radar. I think Sam Darnold's staying with the Vikings. But there's also other names I do want to discuss. T. Higgins is out there as one of the top free agents. He might not come back to the Bengals. I would love T. Higgins. I think any team that gets T. Higgins is lucky.
I think they're going to try to run it back with him and
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase in Cincinnati.
So then there's we got the top free agents. Obviously, Sam Darnold and Aaron Jones are 1 and 2. T. Higgins is 3. I like that a lot. Trey Smith, offensive line for the Chiefs. He was horrible in the Super Bowl. Ronnie Stanley, offensive tackle for the Ravens. Baltimore's got a really good offensive line. I think they want to lose him. The Chiefs are losing a couple people.
Now they're going to try to resign Nick Bolton. That's what another thing we need. Milton Williams back.
You want him back?
We need to.
And then that's pretty much. We got Josh Sweat. You mentioned why you wanted Myles Garrett. That's the reason why.
Hold on.
DJ Reed.
So best fit. No.
The Arizona Cardinals?
Nah, because of Jonathan Gannon. No.
You don't want to lose him to the Arizona Cardinals. DJ Reed, the Jets again. I mean, I would love to get. Oh God, I would love to get Vic's takes on the Jets right now, where things are standing, especially with Aaron Glenn being the new head coach.
I wanted Glenn. I thought that would be a good story too. But
yeah.
I liked I like that he came from the Parcells tree.
Yeah.
I think the Jets need that. Like, I think when Rex Ryan came in, they needed that boisterous person.
Yeah.
But then they totally went the exact opposite, where it was like no personality, and I think that was a weird thing too.
Yeah.
And I wanted Robert Saleh. Like, watching him on the sidelines when he was in San Francisco, obviously he's going back, but watching him on the sidelines, I was like, I want that.
Yeah, you could tell the intensity in his.
But he was never that in New York. He was. I don't know what he was. He looked like he was castrated from the get-go. Like, honestly, like, again, watch videos of him the year before he came to the Jets, and it's a different coach.
I got 2 words to describe that. Woody Johnson.
I call him Dick because he hasn't done anything, and I believe that, like, the Raiders will never win with that owner. Because I never thought after a certain time that the Raiders would ever win with Al Davis.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'll ever win
with Woody Johnson.
With Dick. It's just not gonna work.
Oh boy. Okay, we're getting heated here right now. Okay. Next up, we're gonna go to the NCAA college basketball scene. We got bracketology. For those of you who watch college basketball, Rutgers basketball decided to win a game out of nowhere, 89-85 in overtime against the terrible Washington Huskies.
When was this, last night?
Last night.
I was in bed. What time was the game?
At 10 o'clock p.m. Because it's West Coast basketball.
I was in bed.
Who doesn't love West Coast basketball, especially when Midwestern teams are going to the Pacific Northwest? This is why this realignment makes no sense whatsoever. But anyway, who cares about realignments? But let's look at bracketology for a second, because the SEC, they're trying to break a record, though. So the record for most bids by a conference in a single NCAA tournament is 11. That was set by the 2011 Big East Conference. The SEC right now is at 13. That's according to Joe Lunardi. And if we go to the bubble teams, which is all the way at the top of the bracket, here we go. Texas is coming off a massive win over Kentucky. So they're in the last 4 buys. Also, West Virginia, BYU, and Vanderbilt, even though Vanderbilt got their clocks cleaned by Kentucky last night.
Yeah, now BYU just beat the brains in on Kansas on Tuesday.
They did, so that's going to be huge for them.
So now Kansas is probably going to be now maybe a lower seed, so they might be dropped to a 7 seed. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because I think right now they're at 5, but if they keep on losing, they may not make the tournament.
They may not. And then your last 4 in, San Diego State, Oklahoma, Arkansas is trying to fight. They put up a good effort against Auburn not too long ago.
My thing is, how is Oklahoma and Arkansas as the last 4 in when Oklahoma's record in
their
conference is 3-10, and Arkansas is 5-10,
5-8.
Oh, 5-8.
5-8. Yeah, they're not great.
Wake has a better record in ACC than Oklahoma and Arkansas. So how are they part of? Makes no sense.
I can tell you why though. Oklahoma got off to a 13-0 start.
Doesn't matter.
They've been terrible in conference, but you know what? Who cares? They beat Michigan when they were ranked. They have a couple ranked wins. It's not just the Michigan win, but Arkansas, they're piggybacking off the fact that it's John Calipari, and then he beat Kentucky in his own building.
Now, here's my thing: if you have a good non-conference and you're undefeated, that's good. Now, what you do in conference dictates
that's the majority of your schedule.
If you're going to make the tournament or not.
Yeah.
Now, if you go 13-0, you're a good start. But if you're 3-10 in a conference, they don't deserve to be in a tournament.
They really don't. And then Georgia's trying to make a push to be team number 4 team. And then Wake Forest, like you said, having a better conference record. They actually beat SMU.
So I would figure
Go ahead.
Basically tomorrow when it comes out again tomorrow morning.
Go ahead.
I guarantee you're going to see Oklahoma and Arkansas out of the last 4 in.
Oh, so we'll only have 11 teams in the field then from the SEC.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make it. So they're going to...
You want to know the...
They'll drop, and then they'll put... Wake will probably be in. And
maybe VCU. VCU had a good win.
SMU won last night. They beat Notre Dame by 21 points.
They did. They destroyed them.
And North Carolina won by, I think, 30 over
NC State. Yeah, and then VCU destroyed UMass.
So I guarantee SMU and North Carolina may be one of the last 4 in tomorrow.
I think VCU might also have a chance to get in as well. And then the next 4 out Indiana, Xavier, Kansas State, and UC Irvine.
No, they're all
done.
Yeah,
they're all done. Xavier's trying to stay relevant. I don't understand how they're still doing this. Villanova, before St. John's decided to beat Creighton, Villanova actually beat St. John's.
They did, but they played them. Not last night. They played them Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Last Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday.
Last Tuesday, yes.
They played them. They were up by 14 points with 10 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
And UConn went on a nice big run and beat Villanova.
That's right.
So they lost. So
Villanova's not looking good.
No, Villanova is going to be another NIT. I think that's going to make Kyle, Kyle Neptune, he's going to get fired.
Probably, yeah.
Because too many of NITs.
Too many blown leads, too, this season.
No.
UConn should have lost that game against Villanova. They should have lost.
But they showed grit, and they fought back, and they won the game.
Yeah.
So I think at the end, if they win a tournament, if everything goes right, say if they don't, they're going to win the regular season title, St. John's. If they don't win the conference, I think minimum
they'll be a 6 seed. Maybe
no. They're right now a 4. I think they could be a 3. Right now they're a 4.
They're a 4. Wow.
So if they win the regular season and lose the champion conference tournament, they might be a 3.
Yeah.
I don't think they can't make a 2, but if they at least, I think they can wind up as a 3 seed by when tournament selection Sunday comes.
Yeah.
So right now they'll probably stay in the South, but that sucks. Nice seed, and you got to travel to Seattle.
Well, that's how it goes.
You know?
Because like the round of 64 and the round of 32, you have separate regions.
But you would think they should keep them like in the Midwest or in the East.
You want to know what sucks for St. John's? If they were in the East region and they made the Sweet 16, it'd be all St. John's fans. Because the Eastern region, if you go down, the Eastern region is in New Jersey.
Yeah, it's
in Newark. It's where Seton Hall plays, a Prudential Center.
So I would love to see a nice Duke St. John's Sweet 16 or Tennessee St. John's, but yeah, right now I don't see.
Actually, can we zoom in on that a little bit, if possible? Can we zoom in
now? I can see Michigan State giving Duke a run for the money and actually could beat Duke.
There we go. That's good.
Because right now, if Michigan State stays the 4. They could probably beat Duke.
Possibly. Yeah, listen,
you know?
Right now, I think the 1 seeds don't look good right now. Like Florida, Norfolk State, Duke, Southern. I think Auburn's gonna go make it like to the Elite 8. I think they're comfortable with that. Alabama's really good. Mark, I love Tennessee. Like what region is Tennessee in?
They're in Duke's. They're in the East.
They're in the East. Can you imagine a Duke Tennessee matchup in the Elite 8?
I don't think Duke will make the Elite 8.
Who knocks them out?
If everything stays if Michigan isn't
4 seed is Duke, Michigan State.
I think Michigan State could beat them.
That's a rivalry right there.
I think
Duke, Michigan State.
I think Michigan State could beat them. Depends on how UConn. If UConn
finishes weak, then they're going to be out of the 8th seed.
If UConn, that's the thing. If UConn continues winning, they're not going to be the 8, but
they'll go up to like 7 or 6.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So right now, I don't see UConn beating Duke in the second round.
I can't see that either. With this team, no.
No, if they run a table and win the Big East, then yeah. But I could see either.
Right now, we're looking at 14 from the Big
Tennessee
East.
Or
I like Tennessee a lot. I think
either
Tennessee can do it.
or Michigan State could clip them.
I agree because Tennessee plays at a very fast pace, and they have a lot of talented players.
Now, right now, I can see
in the Western region, Florida looks like they can run the table. I'm not big with Marquette.
I think Florida could lose to either.
I like Drake a lot. I don't know why.
I think Florida's not going to make it to the Final Four. If everything goes right now with the West, I could see either Clemson.
Clemson's a good one.
Or Texas A&M.
Texas A&M is underrated. People don't talk about them.
Either Clemson or Texas A&M beating Florida.
And now if we go back up to the South and the Midwest, let's go to Auburn's Southern region first. Ole Miss is really good. St. Mary's is underrated. You can never count them out.
St. John's.
I like St. John's.
Auburn's good. But they
barely got past Arkansas. Barely.
No, but they beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
And that was a high-scoring game.
So they beat them. I'm not sold on Iowa State. Everyone says Iowa State's good. Watch out for a sneaky one. Watch out for
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I like Wisconsin too. Yeah, something about them is just really
Wisconsin is a sneaky because all of a sudden they're winning and
they got really good players across the board. And Greg Gard's one of the better coaches in the Big Ten.
Now in the Midwest,
Alabama runs the table.
I think Alabama does. Now
they're gonna drop to a 2 seed. Do you want to know why? They lost to Missouri last night.
Yeah. So now my thing is maybe that's better. Houston could be the 1 seed, but Houston doesn't go. They make it to the final. Houston don't score enough.
They don't.
So
they have a good defense.
I think Houston's kryptonite could be Alabama. Alabama could score.
Yeah.
So now let's say Houston is now the 1 seed, right?
Yeah.
And Alabama is now the 2. They may have to play Michigan, and Michigan could beat them.
I like Michigan too. There's some good teams in that region in the Midwest.
Creighton. It all depends if Ryan Kalkbrenner isn't hurt with his foot.
Oh yeah, Kalkbrenner's injury against St. John's was.
He came back, but
he wasn't the same.
No, if his foot's the same, is healed, Creighton can make a run. But if it's Missouri, I haven't seen Missouri play this year, so
they beat Alabama by 12.
Illinois is faded.
Illinois faded really fast. I like. This is gonna sound silly. I think if you're looking for a Cinderella out of that region, I like Yale. It sounds so silly, but they're good. They're undefeated in conference play.
I don't think they won a game last year, but
they did win a game against Auburn last year.
Yeah, but their player Danny Wolf now he's
with Michigan.
He's in Michigan because they don't allow 5-year. 50-year seniors to play
in the Ivy League.
No, so once you're done, after your 4 years is up.
Well, that's dumb.
So they have an extra year. So that's why
this is like Notre Dame all over again. We can't allow 5-year scholars to.
Yeah. So last year, 2 years ago when Princeton had the Sweet 16 run.
Yeah.
Their player. Last year,
one of their players,
he couldn't stay at he was his 5th-year senior.
Yeah,
he couldn't stay at Princeton, so he went to Northwestern.
Oh God,
yeah, and
how horrible is that?
Yeah, and it sucks. And then there's another player.
Ivy League's kicking themselves in the rear for that.
This year, Maglowski, he was on the team last year.
Yeah,
this year now he's playing at Notre Dame.
Wow.
So they're only. Once you're a senior
at
4 years
at an Ivy League school, you're gone.
Yeah, they don't do 5th-year eligibility or grad. So an extra year, you have to go somewhere else.
How dumb is that?
Well, that's that. You know what I'm saying?
How dumb is they're smart in class, but it's like the school itself is dumb for letting them go.
No, it's just how the bracket. That's how it is. Just,
in the Ivy League.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now we're gonna go to our MLB division predictions. We actually don't need I guess we could keep the screen up, but we don't really. Yeah, here we go. So we're gonna start off with the American League divisions first. We got the AL East. We got the Yankees, Red Sox, Blue Jays, Rays, and Orioles. Who wins the AL East and why? Carl, you go first.
Yankees are gonna win the AL East because they added more depth with Cody Bellinger. Max Fried, Paul Goldschmidt, Devin Williams, an actual closer now, which would have been great for the Phillies, but Yankees got him. So Yankees are definitely going to win the division. With them going to World Series, you thought, Boone could be on hot seat. No, he got extended for 2 more years, so you have him this year and 2 more years. I think how it looks like, I think it's going to be him and Cashman are going to be there forever.
Yeah, it seems like it.
I
could say something that I shouldn't say, and I'm not going to say it.
So right now, I have the Yankees. Yankees are going to win the division.
I think the Yankees win the division too. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the phrase "work smarter, not harder." That's what Brian Cashman did. You lose Juan Soto, okay, that's fine. We're just going to beef up at other positions. That helped us lose the World Series.
Right.
So I think the Yankees win the AL East. Now, as far as potential wild cards, don't sleep on Boston, especially now that they got Alex Bregman. And then Baltimore's always going to be good. Toronto, they got Anthony Santander, and then the Rays did absolutely nothing. Well, they got Ha-Seong Kim, but that's not really going to do much.
No.
AL Central, Twins, Guardians, Royals, Tigers, and White Sox. Carl, your pick.
I am going to stick with the Guardians.
You like the Guardians, huh?
I like the Guardians to repeat and win the division.
I'm going with the Kansas City Royals. This is a young, scrappy team, and they didn't lose a hot hitter unlike the Guardians. The Guardians lost Josh Naylor, and I think that's going to hurt the Guardians in a sense. Like if you need a big-time hit, usually Naylor delivers, but then they got Jock Henry Noel, but whatever. I like the Royals. I think Bobby Wood Jr. is going to have an MVP caliber season potentially. I think that this division can pull out three playoff teams again. But I think if I had to pick, I think the Royals win the division. I think Cleveland and Detroit can make playoff spots potentially, but I have Kansas City win the division. And now to the AL West. The most interesting division of the three: the Rangers, Mariners, Athletics, Astros, and Angels.
All right, so now with Houston losing Bregman, I'm going to go on a limb.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go with the Rangers.
Texas Rangers, huh?
Yeah, because now they have no one to play at third base. You lose 30-plus home runs a year, over 100 RBIs. Guy, who's been with the organization since they won in 17.
Yeah.
He's been there since I think it was 2015.
2015, yeah.
So
You're on with the Rangers?
I don't think Bochy's going to have a bad year. I'm going to go with the Rangers to rebound and win the division.
As much as I want to pick the Houston Astros, now that they lost Alex Bregman, I think I'm going to ride with the Texas Rangers. I think that there's something about this team. Keep in mind, they won the World Series a couple years ago.
They did.
They won the World Series, so this team has some talent. And I think they just had a down year last year, and that happens.
Everybody got hurt, I think.
A lot of people got hurt, and that happens. But I think the Rangers can bounce back and win the division. So I got the Rangers winning the AL West. Potential wild cards, nowhere. Now we're going to go to the National League. The hottest division in that league. The Mets, the Nationals, the Marlins, the Braves, and the Phillies. Carl, are you going Phillies?
No.
No.
I don't like what the Phillies did in the offseason. Yeah, they got left field. They got Max Kepler to play left field. Atlanta gets everyone back, but they lost Max Fried.
But they got Jurickson Profar too in Atlanta.
They got, but now they're getting back Spencer Strider for a whole year,
and also Ronald Acuna Jr.
Ronald Acuna Jr. So if everyone stays healthy, I don't see Atlanta's going to win the division. They're going to be when all those guys got hurt. They still were able to make the wild card round against San Diego.
Yes.
So I have they may not win 100, but I have the Braves winning the division. I don't think the Phillies did enough in the offseason to compete. They wanted to run it back. If they don't win the World Series this year, they're going to have to blow it up.
And you fire Rob Thompson, you get rid of a couple players?
I don't think they'll fire Rob Thompson, but I think they're going to what they'll do is at the end of the year, they'll re-sign Kyle Schwarber. They're probably going to, if they don't like what they'll do, if they don't win, they're not going to probably sign JT. JT wants to stay with the Phillies, but he's getting older. But they're definitely going to redo Schwarber. They need to at least sign Schwarber because Schwarber wants to win. All those other guys, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If they don't win, I wouldn't be shocked if they move Castellanos in the off season because he'll have 1 year left on his deal.
Yeah.
Make or break for Bryson Stott. Who knows? They might even trade. They may even not re-sign Ranger Suarez at the end of the year. So, the Phillies will make the playoffs. But
the Braves win the division.
I got Atlanta win the division.
All right, I'm gonna say the Phillies win the division. You might think I'm crazy, but they still have a really good team. I think Atlanta, even though they're getting a lot of their guys back, and they did get Jurickson Profar, I still believe that they're not as good as the Philadelphia Phillies. I just have that feeling. And what if, God forbid, they get hurt again? I also factor injuries into play. I think the Braves can be a potential playoff team. Same with the Mets, but I think Phillies win the division. Now the NL Central. We got the Reds, the Pirates, the Brewers, the Cubs, and the Cardinals.
I was thinking about it. Before we were coming to the station here, to the studio. Brewers, they won it last year, but they have no Devin Williams. Cubs, they lost Bellinger. I
have a sneaky one.
You're probably gonna like the Reds. Pittsburgh is there, but not quite.
They got Tommy Pham, which doesn't really mean much.
Until I see otherwise, I'm gonna. Actually, they don't have. They're hurting here because Evan Williams. Man, they got everyone there. They lost William Adames. They are getting back Kristen Yelich.
And they also have Jackson Chourio, who's only 21 years old.
You know what? I'm going to kick myself in the foot, but I'm going to go with the Reds.
It's funny. I was thinking the same thing. I like the Reds because Terry Francona coming in with this young roster, you need a veteran manager to help you win games and establish some sort of foundation. And I think that's what the Reds are going to do this season. I think the Brewers are a potential playoff team. I think the Cubs are a potential playoff team. Pittsburgh is and then the Cardinals are just horrible.
Yeah.
And now for the NL West. The Padres, the Rockies, a piece of crap, the Diamondbacks, and the Giants.
Should we even... It's not fair.
It's not fair. It's not fair. That's my answer. It's not fair.
You know, it makes no, you know who's going to take it, you know?
Yeah, it's not even worth a discussion.
I don't want to, but, you know...
I want to say the Diamondbacks, but there's no chance.
No.
There's no chance.
The only way that happens if
the Dodgers go through a myriad of injuries, that's the only way the Diamondbacks can win the division.
That's the way I can think of, or they get basically they don't hit in the playoffs, but I don't see.
I can't see it. I don't
see nobody. I don't see nobody in the National League beating them.
No, I can't see it. I can't see it. Right, this is a one-team division, and it's not fair.
I don't see nobody in the league beating them.
You think they go to the World Series easily?
They're getting everybody.
I mean, everyone else in the division in the conference is bad, compared to them.
And the thing that sucks is there should be a cap, but there won't be a cap.
They won't.
And if keep on letting them do all what they keep on doing,
it's not fair. Three words. It's not fair. Period.
They were when Steinbrenner was buying all those guys, he wasn't winning nothing.
No.
When he had his homegrown talent, they were winning. Dodgers, when they bought, they weren't winning. But now, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they are in World Series.
Do you see at least another playoff team besides the Dodgers that can make the playoffs in the National League West?
I don't know, man.
Not even the Diamondbacks?
Well, depends, because right now, if you have, you have the Phillies, and the Braves. Do you have the Mets in there as a wild card?
No.
You don't have the Mets in?
I don't have them as a wild card. Like, if we went over our wild card predictions in the next episode, I wouldn't have the Mets in a wild card position. I wouldn't.
Now, Frankie Montas is hurt.
Yes.
So right now, if you have Phillies, Braves, Reds, that's 3. You could do Dodgers 4, Padres 5, Diamondbacks 6.
Possibly.
You could do that.
Yeah.
You have 3. You could have 3 from the West, and you just have the Central and 2 from the East.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Uh-huh.
I could probably see that where it's only a one bid league out of the Central, and you have 3 from the West. Those 3 again, and then just 2 from the East.
True.
I can see that.
True. Well, there was like, what was it? 2, 2, and 2? No, 3, 2, and 1 last year.
Last year was 3 from the East,
2 from the West, and then 1 from the Central.
Yeah.
Right. And then from the American League side, it was the Yankees and Orioles, and then it was the Royals, the Guardians, and the Tigers, and then it was just the Astros.
Yeah. So you're only gonna get one team from the West. That's it.
Pretty much.
But you could probably do 2 from the East again. You could do this time could be Boston and Yankees, and then all 3 from the Central again.
It's possible. I like what Boston has done.
Yeah.
I like what Boston's done. I like what the Arizona Diamondbacks have done. Like, if we're doing like a World Series based on off-season acquisitions, I would do Red Sox, Diamondbacks. I like what the Diamondbacks have done. Like, they got Corbin Carroll, they got Ketel Marte, they got Josh Naylor. People don't understand that. Josh Naylor is actually a bigger acquisition than people think.
And they got Corbin Burns.
They have a nasty rotation in Arizona.
You know.
Speaking of baseball, while we're on the subject of baseball, we do want to give a shout out to Talking Baseball with Sal Angelotti. Talking Baseball with Sal Angelotti will make its Rider University debut at 107.7 FM The Bronx on March 2nd this year. We will go to Rider University this Sunday for our board training. We'll be learning how to run the board. And for those of you who are aspiring radio personalities, you have to learn how to run the board at a radio station. If you don't know how to run the board at a radio station, you're going to be SOL in the future. I'm serious. As someone who worked at a college radio station, I could tell you have to learn how to run the board. It's like essential.
So enlighten me. We go there, right?
Yeah.
And whoever's running the board will say, all right, we'll have okay.
So if you run the board, it's a lot because it helps you manage time. It helps you like know what stuff to put up. It helps you manage like when to put up sponsors and promos and ads.
Now, I think only one person should be designated to run the board.
Yeah, one person should be designated to run the board at all times.
So it's
either going to be you, me, or Sal. But I'm going to be honest, I can't see Sal running the board. I love Sal, but
I'd rather have you do it.
Okay.
I can't.
Hey, listen. I did in college.
You could talk to Sal.
Yeah, we'll talk to Sal.
There's no way I could.
We'll talk to Sal when we go to the studio on Sunday.
Yeah.
But no, that's the scoop. We do have a few sponsors with Talking Baseball with Sal Angelotti. I don't know them all off the top of my head, but we do have 4 sponsors. If you're a small business owner looking to invest in a baseball program that's part of a radio station, hit us up. Hit me up, hit Carl up, hit Sal up. If you know us on Facebook, you can hit us up there, and then we'll take it from there.
Correct.
That's a small step. So that is basically all we got to do for Sports Symposium. Not for Sports Symposium. That's another show that I do. Sports Symposium. Sports Symposium is a show that I do with Kevin Zelix-Kovacs, John Welch, and Alec Nava. They're from Texas, Washington, and North Carolina, respectively. They're great guys. I do the show with them every Friday. It's on YouTube, the Sports Symposium YouTube channel. I wanted to have Sal there as a special guest one time just to promote the show, but then things got out of hand with timing of the show. Usually we go from 8 to 10, but it happens.
Okay, I got one more thing we were talking about before the show.
Go
ahead. Excuse me. So about 25 minutes, we're gonna have first puck drop for the championship game of the Nations tournament.
That's correct.
With Canada now coming to Boston and playing the United States of America, USA, in a championship game tonight. The tournament started Thursday in Montreal. The first game was Canada and Sweden.
Yes.
Canada won 4-3
in overtime.
And then
the U.S.
we had a nightcap against Finland, and we won 6-1.
Well, after Finland scored the first goal, people were like, "Oh my God, it's going to happen!" But it didn't happen.
we're going to talk about who we think is going to win tonight, but what is kind of what we're going to talk about is...
This is weighing on my mind, too.
When the night game was about to start, we had Finland and United States.
Yes.
So when it's time for the national anthem first, United States was the designated road team.
Yes.
So when they were starting to sing the national anthem for our country, United States,
yes,
all the fans in Montreal was starting to boo.
Yes.
And a lot of Canada players said, we don't think it's right that they boo. You should never boo national anthems. You should respect, blah, 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 blah. That is correct. And we win 6-1. Saturday night, we play Canada.
Correct.
Saturday night, after the first game was Finland and Sweden. We were about first drop puck, and then all of a sudden, they're about to sing our national anthem first.
Yes.
And then here comes the booze again.
Yeah. It's horrible.
Okay.
Absolutely horrible.
And we don't condone that, blah, 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 blah. We all of a sudden, it's a hate rivalry between Canada and United States. Everyone thinks Canada's better than us in hockey. I don't know. Everyone thinks we stink. So, first, within the first 9 seconds, we had 3 fights between United States and Canada. Drop the gloves.
Yeah.
Kachuk brothers. And then also, I think it was Jake Gensel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's Jake Gensel?
So here we go. So boom, 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 boom. We lost. They scored the first goal, and then we scored the next 2, and then Jake Gensel had an empty netter to win the game on Saturday 3-1.
Yeah.
Now,
pretty much.
The game on Monday didn't matter because we were already in the finals.
Yes.
So Canada won the first game over Finland. So now brings us back to tonight. So now with the game being in Boston,
and it's for the final. It's for the final.
For the finals. Do you see it? I want Vic to get your opinion too. Do you see an instance where tonight, when they start to do the Canadian national anthem first, the fans in Boston boo Canada's national anthem?
I'd love to hear this.
It's in Boston, dude. Like, how is it not going to? Like, the only other place that it would be worse would probably be like New York or Philly.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that's just the fans. Like,
yeah,
you're not gonna do that and have Boston and do it in Boston too.
Boston is one of America's most beloved cities. All right, here's my opinion on this whole thing. I could go into a large-scale rant about this, but I'm not going to. I have heard large-scale rants from Canadian friends of mine who do their own podcasts in Canada about booing the anthem, talking about it. I get it. I understand where they're coming from. I'm not going to say names, but I can name. I have two words why, the Canadians are booing our anthem. Actually, 2 sets of 2 words. The first set of two words I have is the tariffs. The second set of 2 words is our president. I'm not against any of it. I understand it. I'm not going to go into a large scale rant about it, but you got to have respect for our country. Think about it. We are collabing with Canada for the NHL. We are collabing with Canada for the NBA. We are collabing partially with the NFL, because obviously technically Buffalo is technically in Canada,
and also in the Major League Baseball too.
And then Major League Baseball. We're collabing with Canada on all 4 major sports. If it weren't for us, there would be no you. There would be no marketing. There would be no publicity. There would be no nothing. So let me just say this to the Canadian sports fans who continue to boo and disrespect our country. Yes, you might have good Canadian bacon. Yes, you have better currency. Yes, you have better passionate fans. But there would be no partnership without us. So I don't want to hear any more boos towards our anthem ever again. And if it happens again, I'm going to be upset. I'm not going to go full-scale political rant about it, because there's no need for a full-scale political rant on a sports show. But I've had enough to the point where I need to say something. I'm not going to yell and flip out, whatever, but please settle down with the boos. And if that happens again, where Canadian fans who take over Boston decide to boo our anthem, it's a disgrace and shouldn't be condoned.
I don't think it's going to be a big turnout. I think it's going to be more of our fans in there tonight. For hockey, for us as a nation, as a country, I think we need a win for our country so we can say American hockey is better than Canadian hockey.
Yeah, it's a bragging
because next year is the Olympics.
Yes, the Winter Olympics. Yes.
So if we beat them now, because it's always been Canadians and
United
the
States.
Russians.
No, the Russians. Yes.
Always Canadians and the Russians always getting the gold medals.
Right.
So if we could beat them tonight and win this, they have found doubt when we have them when we play in Japan for the Olympics in next year in February. That we're not. It's not our game no more. We have other countries that could actually beat us in hockey.
Yeah.
So I think it's more to set a tone for next year in the Olympics. So I think we need this more than they need it.
I agree. It's all about the bragging rights. But that pretty much wraps up the hour. We had a pretty good time on this. So remember, keep in mind of two things. One, Talking Baseball with Sal Angeletti will be live on Rowdy University Radio on Sunday, March 2nd at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then second, if you know someone who's the age of 60 or over, if you respect your elders, because like SpongeBob SquarePants once said, old people are the greatest. They are full of wisdom and experience. I've been loaded with people who are old, who are in the elder category that are great, and I wouldn't be anywhere without them. As Ming Chen walks in. But from Carl Maglowski, Matt Siriani, thank you so much for watching Sports Symposium tonight. We couldn't be here without you guys and the support. Thank you so much for Sports Symposium. Take care. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.